Today I'm going to talk about why right now I think it's the best time to buy a home. So if you find that interesting, or even if you're a little bit surprised because you think differently, stick around for the rest of the video and see why I think this is the time. Good afternoon. My name is Adam Kahn and I'm the Rational Investor. Today is Wednesday, November 15th. I hope you're doing well, and I'd say I'm enjoying the nice day here in Las Vegas, but it's a little bit overcast. I'm a little worried I might get rained on, but it is what it is. Before I forget, and before I get into why I think right now is the best time to buy a home, do me a favor. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, smash the like button, and if you want, make some comments. Tell me why you disagree. Tell me why you agree. I have my opinion. You're welcome to have yours. The other thing is, I'm going to put a couple of links in the description on how to open an account at Sofi. Feel free to use those. Feel free not to. But if you do and you deposit $10 or more, they're going to give you a free $25. The other thing is it's connected to an account that I open with my 13-year-old son. I try to teach him about investing, and he gets really excited about it. It's a good opportunity for me to be able to do that with him, and I appreciate the support and the kindness of you guys using those links. Now, anyway, let me start with why I think right now is the best time to buy a home. It really is. This is not because I'm a loan officer. This is not because I know a lot of people who are realtors. I think it's a great time. And why I think that is because a lot of you, so many people are so scared right now. We're seeing prices drop. And if you were watching, a couple days ago or yesterday, CPI came out and it's already beginning to slow. And that's the Fed's way of judging inflation. So if inflation is slowing, my thought process, now you have to do your own research. Don't listen to me. I'm just some guy on YouTube. Honestly, you decide what you're going to do with your money, and don't follow me because I say it. You guys need to decide for yourself. But what that indicates to me is that the Fed will be in the position next year to actually lower rates. I'm expecting that we'll see mortgage rates come down as well. And I think that when that happens, that we might see prices of the homes go up because we're not going to have as much inventory come to the market as people are thinking. This time of year is traditionally slow. So what I think we're seeing is the sellers that have been on the market that aren't getting the traction that you were seeing 3, 4, 5 months ago and a year ago. They're getting panicked and they're getting worried and they're lowering their price. And I think they're getting a little over aggressive in how much they're lowering it, because I think the higher prices are kind of here to stay, and the higher mortgage payments. When I started, a normal mortgage payment might have been $1,500. But at this point, what I'm seeing more often is people seem to be comfortable at, $3, $4,000 a month. And I think that's something that people have adjusted to as we've had inflation throughout everything. Well, if the prices come down a little and the rates get improved when the Fed starts pivoting, because if CPI continues to come in lower and lower, and next year's an election year, and nobody's going to want to see a big collapse, ask yourself, do you really see a big collapse? Or do you just see it because it's gone up so much you just assume that'll happen? What I picture is we balance out here and things start to do okay. So the lowering prices that you're seeing right now, from my standpoint, is really good opportunity to get something that could be a good deal. I don't personally see a scenario where we're going to see the prices get lower and lower and lower and people come in and panic. I understand the discussions about the Airbnbs, the investors that came in late, but for the most part, those people are usually pretty well funded, and it just becomes a financial decision of, do I get out and take the loss on the home, or do I just rent it out or stick it out for a while? In all markets, there's always some distress sales, so of course I think we'll see some of it. But I don't think it's going to be this massive amount of inventory that people are hoping for or thinking it's going to be. I think it'll be what you would normally have for typical, for if it's foreclosures, or just people who want to get out because they're not making the money that they thought they would. The other thing that I'm finding interesting is, mortgage rates popped into the eights. My guess is if we got back into the sixes, people would be so relieved with that at this point that they'd be super comfortable with that. And we don't really need to get down into the fives or the fours or where people think. Again, this is not, I don't know. I'm not predicting the future. This is just my thoughts. So you guys have to decide what you guys think in terms of what you think of the market. But I don't think we have to get that much lower to support the market. I think the market's pulled back a little already, and we'll see the rates improved, and we'll see the buyers come back in. I have a feeling once we get into the sixes, and if we get into the low sixes, the buyers are really going to come back in full force, and we'll be normal. We won't be super busy like we were 2 years ago. I think that was just amal- just an anomaly of something that isn't typical. Markets tend to ebb and flow of busy and slow and busy and slow and normal periods. I think we're going back into a normal period where it's not going to be super busy and it's not going to be super slow, but I think the Fed did what they wanted to do. They slowed it down enough. Now it's gotten a little too slow. As it starts to correct, well, they'll be in the position to support it by lowering the rates back down. Same as the stock market. I mean, when CPI came out yesterday, stock market took off, and not in a way you might expect. From what I saw, the seven, the stocks, the what are they calling it, the marvelous or miraculous, whatever, the seven that have been supporting the market, they didn't do a whole ton. But a lot of things that have been, in my mind, oversold or out of favor really took off. Now, I've been touting Target for a long time, and they came out with earnings this morning, and boy, they sure took off. And yesterday we saw Enphase and some of these others that have really been out of favor really explode to the upside. My guess is that's what you continue to see. The stuff that's been really out of favor will explode to the upside. And the stuff that's been super strong, well, they'll settle down a bit, but they're not really going to collapse because a lot of them have good earnings. I think that's the same with the real estate market. The real estate is just fine. We're not going to see any big collapse. It'll slow down. And I think a lot of the YouTubers are hoping for a big collapse. But keep this in mind. Think back to 2008 when we did have a collapse. There was huge panic. It was totally different, and people were unemployed. It's really hard to imagine a scenario where job is secure, income is really good, so on and so forth, and the house prices collapse, and oh, I'm just in this perfect position because it's way less expensive, super affordable, and I'm getting raises and doing really well. That's not how a collapse happens. A collapse happens along with job losses, pay cuts, company closings, and scary things going on. If you don't see that coming, and maybe you do, well, maybe it's just a price correction where it catches itself, which is really what I picture. I don't see huge, massive layoffs. I see a slowdown, which is what the goal was. And then once we slow down and things start making more sense, we should be able to build from there and start going up again. So I see if you are able to find a home where a seller's been sitting too long and they're a little bit panicked, boy, you might really get a great deal. Again, I might be wrong. Maybe it's not a great deal. Don't listen to me. Make your own financial decisions. I mean that. Um, but I see good opportunities right now. So, again, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and tell me where I'm wrong. I know there's a lot of data out there pointing to whatever you guys think is what's saying differently. Have a great day.